Well, welcome everybody. I think we'll get started here. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces, several mothers. Thank you for joining us today on our holiday tour Ghosts of Guides Past trivia game show. So basically, every year we've done a holiday virtual tour talking about some of the literary histories of Christmas tradition, the Western tradition of Christmas, and all the different writers who really kind of influenced what a lot of Western culture now celebrates here. And this year we wanted to mix it up because why do something easy like work on already pre-prepared elements? And instead we wanted to try to do something we've never done before, which is a crash course in how to run a game show on a virtual webinar. So we're giving it a shot this time around. We've called it the Ghosts of Guides Past because our three contestants who will be joining us shortly are all former guides who have now moved away and gone on to, I don't want to say bigger and better things because I don't know that you can do anything bigger or better than be a guide on our tour, but certainly different and farther away things. And actually, if we could have the gang all join up right now, I'd like to welcome people back. So we have for us today three contestants. One of the first is, of course, Peter Tiberius Xavier Schuyler, who is the first of us on here to leave. I don't know if I got his middle names right. I think it's pretty close.
I mean, I do have that many names, but yeah, those are not my middle names.
Neither of them are Tiberius and Xavier.
No,
Do
sadly.
you want them to be?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to fill out the paperwork for you. We have the forms ready and standing by for anyone who wants a name change on the tour. But Peter was the first of us to leave, and the first and only one of us to actually get the logo as a tattoo on there because his influence on us and our influence on him were mutually beneficial. But he's a terrific actor as well as a former guide who's moved on to Portland, Oregon, and we sorely miss you. And welcome, Peter, on our first ever quiz show.
Well, thanks, Eric.
The next person to leave us is, of course, Rachel the Fun Run Grundy, an actress, musician, guide, originally from across the pond. She eventually bailed on us on the tour and on all of New York City, and she headed off to Tennessee, where she's been doing whatever it is that you do in Tennessee.
Mostly just living on the side of the mountain.
Do you perform at all? Are you getting any music done out there?
I kind of took a break when I moved here. It was also during COVID times, so there wasn't much going on, but I'm kind of getting the itch again to, yeah, dip my toes back into my artistic side. So
there's an ointment for that.
No permits here though, so that's nice.
That's right. Now that we're on our 40s, it is all about the ointments, our 40s. And I did say that we're all in our 40s. But of course, last to join us, our last contestant is Mr. Leo Ross, the most recent to join our tour and then immediately bail on us and leave the city and head out to Montana and then to, where are you again now, Leo?
Walla Walla, Washington.
What, is that a real place?
It is. It is.
Walla Walla, Washington.
I thought it was wrong.
Sounds like I thought
Eric, I will take the middle names if you're offering.
Leo, Xavier, Tiberius, Ross. Yeah, I like that flow.
Yes, that sounds great.
Well, lastly, before we get too far into it, I do want to give a shout out to our team members and probably the two hardest working people on this tour right now, which is Danielle Brockman and Rebecca Ross Bailey, who have done just about all of the work that you're going to see on here and is the reason why this is happening, why a big portion of our tour is happening. I am eternally grateful for the work that they've done with script organizing and the research, the slides, the promotion. You know, they are really the driving force, and I can't imagine what this would be without you. So thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Rebecca. And on that note, we should probably explain what's going to happen here on the tour. And Danielle, I believe you put together the rules and the scoring and all of the different finesse of our tour, correct?
That is correct. So I will be the rule meister for the evening, and I just want to lay down a couple of ground rules to start. So for all of our contestants, please keep all of your arms, legs, and whatever other limbs of your choosing inside your screen at all times. Remember to use your inside voice because if you scream, I scream, and I promise it'll be an experience you will never forget. Decorum and pants are mandatory. Only one person can speak at a time. There will be no name calling, cat calling, or booty calling unless it's directed at Eric. And there's a fine line between being brilliant and being a know-it-all, so the latter will be punished. Creativity, good cheer, and bright spirits and genuine funniness will be rewarded. And that brings us to our point system. So at the beginning of each question topic, we will announce what the points are available to win. And then the points will appear here on the board next to each of our contestants' names. At the top of your board, you'll notice that there are ravens. These are pose ravens, and they will be doled out at mine and Becca's discretion whenever someone does something that we just don't like, whether that's unsportsmanship like conduct or not being nice enough to us or just whatever. So one of these means that you get 1 point less, and they'll appear next to your name. Likewise, if you do something good that Becca and I think is funny, creative, cool, then you're going to get a Mark Twain, and we'll mark a 2nd point on your name to make up the difference. All contestants, as you can see, have a lifesaver. This is not an ad. Next to their name.
They are not a sponsor to this tour, sadly, although
Not a
they are welcome
sponsor
to be.
yet. Lifesaver. And you will be able to use this one chance only once during the whole entire game if you need help. So at the beginning of a question, after Eric finishes it, if you feel like you need help and you don't know the answer, you may present yourself in such a way where you think that we might be able to help you, like, oh no, over here, something to that effect. And then we will pause. The answer will go to you, and you will have an opportunity to message everyone in the chat. And audience, here's your time if you feel like being kind to help the contestant with the right answer. You will choose one answer from the audience and say it, and then if that is correct, you get the points, and if that's wrong, then you're knocked out for the rest of the question and someone else gets to answer. If you do not use your lifesaver, you will have an opportunity at the end of the game to use it to knock away one of your raven. And of course, we're using the lifesaver because if you haven't been on our tour and you don't know, the poet Hart Crane, he very sadly jumped off a boat to the end of his life. And it's a little bit ironic because his father was the most famous candy maker in America who created the lifesaver. So a little bit of tour history for you there. And those are all the rules.
That's right. So we have a little bit of a would you rather. So if you could please have your paper, pens, whiteboard ready. We would like to know, which author would you rather A, read forever, B, marry, or C, cancel? Who would you rather read forever, marry, or cancel? And your options are James Joyce, J.K. Rowling, or Norman Mailer. All of whom may or may not have already been canceled, but we want to hear your choices. Who would you rather read forever, marry, or cancel? Rachel, I can see you're putting a lot of thought into this. This is good. This is a really important first call to let everyone know.
Dilemma for sure.
Brain of Rachel. Pete, you seem like you really kind of banged that out.
No, I am actually struggling with this because well, we'll get to that in a second.
I'm not even sure how I would answer on this. James Joyce, I might marry. I think it would be an interesting wedding. I don't know who I'd cancel. Norman Mailer seems like he was drunk everywhere. Leo, what do you got? Leo Ross.
I found this very easy.
You're gonna have to read it for me. I got my screen a little low there. You're gonna whoops.
Oh my God, I disappeared. I was banished. I said read Joyce because it's going to take you forever to read Finnegan's Wake anyway. And then obviously cancel Rowling because we hate her, which leaves Mailer, and he's pretty cute, so I'd be fine to marry him.
Oh, there you go. Don't tell my kids about Rowling. Rachel, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I went in a different direction. I have a way too big whiteboard as well. So I did do read Rowling because there's just a lot of books and they're fun stories, so I love them. I picked James Joyce to marry because I like his pirate eye patch, and I think that could be fun. And then I decided to cancel Norma Mailer for no other reason than he's the only one left.
Process of elimination.
Pretty much.
Mr. Schuyler. I got to know this.
All right, so if you can read that, I would read Joyce forever because you got Ulysses, you got Finnegan's Wake in there. I added.
It would take you forever to read those, I think. So.
Yeah, well, and that's fine, right? But I added a couple of games to Rowling. I added the Bang, Marry, Kill, so I bang, marry, then kill Rowling because nobody needs anti-trans stuff in their life. And then I cancel Norman Mailer because he was a sexist d-bag and just an all-around not great person. I mean, were he still alive today, he'd be canceled anyway. So yeah.
Didn't he also stab his wife?
I mean, there is that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to make him really good marriage material in that scenario.
Yeah, it was really the lesser of two evils between Rowling and Mailer.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, let's get into the quiz. So this first round, round one, is going to be a test your knowledge. It's a multiple choice quiz. Guides, if you would please write down your answers. Who was the first African American to earn a doctorate degree at Harvard University? Of the four choices that are there before, James Baldwin, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, Langston Hughes, or Ida B. Wells. One of them, indeed, was the first African American to get a doctorate at Harvard. Guys, if you could write your answers and your guesses down. And again, we've posed these questions. We don't expect actually people to get a lot right. We've got some challenges here. It is kind of see how Tor adjacent your knowledge is. So it's the first person, African American, earned a doctorate degree is W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a Greenwich Village resident and one of the main founders of the NAACP, a major icon in the African American movement, literary movement, rights movement, and what have you. Excellent. So now we're going to move on to question number 2. In the novel Catcher in the Rye, which attraction did Holden Caulfield take his little sister Phoebe to Central Park? Which of the following? The carousel, the skating rink, the zoo, strawberry fields, the outdoor roller disco, or Bethesda Fountain? I want to keep things moving. So which of those did Holden Caulfield take his little sister Phoebe to in Central Park? The esteemed novel Catcher in the Rye. And I didn't ask for your answers before, so I know Danielle needs to keep some scores. So we're going to give it, all right. What did you have? So let's start with the second answer. What did you all have, guides, for, hold up your answers for The Catcher in the Rye, the carousel, for Leo, carousel. Fortunately, Peter, I can't read your handwriting, so you did with the zoo.
Yeah.
Okay, the correct answer is indeed the carousel.
Yay!
And then for the sake of the first round, because it's the first time we've done this quiz, what did everyone put down for their answers for the first one? This might be a gimme now because no one can prove it.
No,
Langston Hughes was Rachel's. Leo, solid win there. And Peter, excellent.
I almost put Du Bois, and I'm like, it's a toss-up between Du Bois and Hughes, and I chose poorly.
Well,
That's a tough one.
I was gonna read Baldwin, marry Ida B. Wells, and then cancel Du Bois. Was my plan.
Good.
Was that's how that question worked, right?
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't know the answer, you can always just marry, cancel or read. All right. Question number 3: Who is the only American playwright to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? Of this list before, only one has actually ever win the Nobel Prize. Lillian Hellman, Dorothy Parker, Tennessee Williams, Thornton Wilder, or Eugene O'Neill. One of them was the one who won.
These are much harder than I was expecting.
That's right. Guides, panelists, who did you each pick? Got a Wilder. Nice.
I had to go with
Eugene, who loved Sweden. I'm not sure how that's
Tennessee
relevant, but that's good to know. Tennessee William, go Vols.
oh, Vols, the Volunteers.
The volunteer. Oh, go Volunteers. Excellent.
I
Wow.
represent my state.
Okay, I thought you were just like plugging your own local team or something. The correct answer is Eugene O'Neill. Eugene O'Neill.
Isn't the Nobel Prize like based in Sweden?
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is that the connection?
I thought
I
so.
thought you were just trying to show off that you knew extra facts about Eugene. Instead, you're showing off that you know extra facts about the Nobel Prize.
I can't
Well,
believe the guy
bonus
who wrote Our
O'Neill
Town
fact.
didn't get a Nobel Prize for Our Town.
I don't know. If I were going to get a prize, I'd want a bell involved. So I'm not into this Nobel stuff.
No.
And that is not the worst dad joke I will make on the tour. So prepare yourselves.
That was just a warm-up.
Worse. Okay, and this is
I
our
think
last.
That joke just gave me a kidney stone. Hang on. Oh.
I've heard I've got that knack.
Ooh.
All right, this is the last one. Everyone stand by ready for your polls, for your pens, for your last test your knowledge. This is a little contested, but who wrote the poem A Visit from St. Nick, now commonly referred to as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, according to us? There's a little bit of a clue here, and this will be helpful for all of you who may have participated or watched our holiday tour the past 3 years, because this was a segment that I did that I know was probably very impactful for most of you in the audience who did watch this. But yes, Of these, Washington Irving, Charles Dickens, Henry Livingston Jr., Washington Irving Jr., or Clement Clark Moore, who wrote the poem of Visits from St. Nick? And so you get two people who are kind of weighing them options. And again, I will reframe this with according to us. Guides, what did you decide upon? Clement Clark Moore. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Henry Livingston Jr. Henry Livingston Jr. Very good. Again, according to us, it is Henry Livingston Jr. Now, I will give half-point credit to everyone who put Clement Clark Moore because his name is on most of the copies that you see. However, if you did watch our holiday tour, and I would encourage you to go on YouTube and find out that segment, it is a very contested as to whether or not Clement Clark Moore actually did write that or whether or not he took credit. I won't get into the full spiel, but of course, it remained anonymous for about 15 or so years. Meantime, Clement Clark Moore was writing poems like shame, shame, heart-rending shame, deep stinking shame, and writing poems about how education for women is about as strange as when pigs will fly. And a very strict slave-owning religious figure whose only poem that is even remotely fun or amusing would be this if he wrote it. However, Henry Livingston Jr. wrote a series of whimsical poems under the name Signor Pomperoso and other such elements, who has several poems that are very much the rhyme, meter, and rhythm of a Visit from St. Nick. So in
I tell you, Eric, when I was a guide on this tour was very pro CCM, and I don't like the way things have changed.
We progress as we learn. We are an ever evolving tour. I don't know that anyone will ever know, so I will give a full point for everyone who picked Henry Livingston Jr., but we will give a half point because, again, his name is on the book, and so he's kind of stuck with it, even though I may disagree. And that is the end of our first section. Good job. And we're going to move on now to round 2. Round 2 is, of course, called What's That Smell? Now, each question here is worth 1 point. How to answer, same as last round. We'll go one question at a time. Please write down your answers, and then we'll ask you to reveal them. This is sort of a multiple choice, so we'll show you the options on the forthcoming slides. But first question in What's That Smell? In pre-colonial New York City, what method was used to keep the streets clean? Was it rats, bats, pigs, horses, or goats? Which of these was used in pre-colonial New York City, New Amsterdam, if you will? Which of these was used to help keep the streets clean?
When we say clean,
Clean by the standards of 1630.
I feel like we're on a spectrum of what's clean with this question. But okay.
Less trash than before the animal was introduced.
Okay.
A net reduction in street-side waste.
Okay.
If that helps.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. What do we see? Leo, you're the newest on the tour. What did you think? Which of these? Pigs. You went for the old
Contrary to
pigs.
popular belief, they're very clean animals.
And apparently eat anything. At least if you watch Deadwood, they eat everything. Peter Schuyler, what was your choice? What did you think?
I went for the goat, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan will eat anything.
I mean,
goats, I
if
can
you're
see
gonna get it,
that. I could see that. They're
your
used
goat.
for clearing fields.
I went for goats. Because
Rachel,
of the answers, I thought it was the least bad.
that was better than the Bells joke. I'll give you that.
There's too many dads in this show. Anyway.
Rachel, what did you pick? What's yours?
I also went with goats because they are kind of trash pandas. They will eat anything.
Very good guess. I think that a lot of good logic. Unfortunately, Leo is the only one who got it right. It was indeed pigs that the Dutch were using. They let loose on the streets to clean whatever it was that was wasted on the sides. All right. Question number 2 in What's That Smell? On Gay Street, where several historical hauntings have been reported, Frank Paris, the creator of the Howdy Doody puppet, the original one at least, claimed that he knew a chef must have died under mysterious circumstances because he would smell what wafting in when no one else was there? Which of these were they? Roses and tin sardines, violets and fried onions, garlic and pine berries, spicy meatballs and vapors, or deviled eggs and cigar smoke. One of these was a clear sign of a culinary haunting. All right. And we're going to call time on that. I see people are furiously writing quickly. You can give it hints. Peter, you've been pretty good so far on this. What did you get? Which of the smells?
I said Violet Beauregard and fried onions.
Violet Beauregard. Very good. Leah, what was yours?
I wrote spicy meatballs and vapors mostly because I just want more clarification as to what vapors are.
Have you never had the vapors?
Yes, exactly. If you could distinguish what sort of vapors are we talking about? That's a good question. This is a family-friendly tour. Rachel, what was yours?
Yeah, well, I also do appreciate the accurate spelling of vapors with a U in it, so I'm just gonna point that out. I went with B, violets and fried onions, but also I wanted to know who cooks violets with onions? What kind of chef is this?
Indeed, I don't think that connection was ever made. You are correct. The
Yeah.
theory goes that it was violets and fried onions that he would smell. Of the 3 ghosts that he claimed haunted him at that house, and then of course he learned to honor the spirit of Christmas from that point on. But there were 3 ghosts, and Frank Paris smelt violets and fried onions, and thus was convinced the chef must have been murdered. Now we're showing this picture here because, yes, he was the creator of the Howdy Doody puppet, but it's not the one that most people think of. It was not the one that was commonly there. It was only a handful of episodes where this puppet, this mildly disturbing puppet, was the face of Howdy Doody. This is legit. And I don't know if it even lasted a full season, but there was a contract dispute. And basically, Frank Paris got angry, and so he took his ball and left and basically stole the star of the show. What ended up happening is that they decided, because the show was gaining popularity really, really quickly, and so they decided that they were going to have him go through plastic surgery. So they just had a puppet wrapped in fabric going through plastic surgery while he was running for president of the television, as they were trying to come up with a new design to the sort of freckled face that most people now recognize. But this was the original face of Howdy Doody.
I would like to point out that Frank Paris is playing a ukulele.
Very true.
If you go on to YouTube, you can Google Frank Paris puppets, and you can see some of his marionette work, and it is really stunning. He has a flamingo feather dancer routine with a marionette, and it's really amazing. It's an art that is done.
He used to do this show in his basement for neighborhood kids.
Back before that was creepy.
It was always creepy.
It was the village. You just kind of rolled with it. All right, next question.
Bohemians.
Bohemians, those bohemians and their puppet shows. Fitzgerald wrote a collection of stories about New York City called Tales of the Jazz-A's. And they're actually wonderful stories if you want to get a sense of what life was like in Prohibition era, especially in New York City. And it's really, in many ways, they're like love letters, honest love letters about what life was like in New York City for him. And in one of the stories, O Russet Witch, he describes the smells that could be found in a New York City apartment stairwell. Which of the following that we are listed is not one of the smells of the ones listed? Vegetables of 1880. And again, he wrote this in the late 1920s. Furniture polish from McKinley's presidential run. Portieres, heavier with dust. I'm sure I didn't say that right. Elegant lingering tobacco smoke. Worn out shoes, or lint from dresses. Which of these was not a smell that Fitzgerald listed in O Russet Witch? This is a tricky one.
Only one of these is not.
All the rest are there. Almost all of these were smells he claimed to have caught as he wafting to him as he walked through the stairwell of a New York City apartment, except for one. One of them I made up. And it's tricky because my prose is very similar to Fitzgerald. It's often been described as of a similar quality, style, and depth. So I'm not surprised.
By whom? Who's made that? By you?
A list of people who look very similar to me.
Okay.
Yeah. That actually, I think it was quoted in my autobiography. That is yet to be published. All right, pens down. Do we have guesses? Curious. Leo, you're a Fitzgerald fan. I'm gonna put you on the oven first. What do you got?
Yes, portieres, heavy airs with bustiers. This is actually an ancient French wine. It's no longer.
That's how it's pronounced. Heavy airs. Heavy airs. Yes.
Heavy airs with deuced.
Rachel, what's your guess?
I went vegetables of 1880 because that, I mean, New York City, apartments there will smell pretty bad, but that would be very rotten by
It would
night.
smell very rotten. It would indeed. Peter, what's your guess?
I went with Zelda Fitzgerald being a total smoke show. I went with the smoke because there's nothing elegant about anything lingering in the stairwell of a New York City tenement house.
Well, very good. That is the incorrect answer, Peter. That is an Eric Chase original, Elegant Lingering Tobacco Smoke. All the others were quoted in his "Oh Russet Witch" is what you would smell in order, in fact, going up the stairs of this New York City apartment. So very well done. Okay, now this is my favorite. Our last, what's that smell? Famed perfumer Timothy Hahn, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Timothy Hahn lounging in the back legless chair. He created a perfume inspired by a novel. He describes it as thus. Le perfume. No, I won't do French accent. The perfume is like the road trip starting in New York and going all the way through America. I wanted to capture the notion of America in the summer and these kids stepping into dive bars and hearing jazz for the first time and getting caught up in this energy. Which novel is the inspiration for this olfactory sensation? Is it The Great Gatsby, East of Eden, Travels with Charlie in Search of America, Into the Wild, or On the Road?
Can you read the quote again?
In a French accent, please.
Le perfume is like the road trip, starting in New York and going all the way through to America. I wanted to capture the notion of America in the summer and these kids stepping into dive bars and hearing jazz for the first time and getting caught up in this energy. Which novel inspired a perfume that I am now in search for? Because this is how I want to smell.
Well, if it's the novel that I don't think it would smell very good, but
Well, what novel do you think it was? What's your
um,
guess?
I'm gonna go obvious On the Road.
On the road, on the road. What do you think, Leo?
I'm also gonna say On the Road, and I'm also very curious which dive bars play jazz.
Mm.
I think they all did at that time because jazz was not, it was the underbelly of the music scene. It was corrupting the youth. It was driving the sexual libido of teenagers. It was under the crush of the religious right at that time. It was looked down upon, and it was also obviously very heavily African American, which I'm sure fed to that. But yes, I think it was mostly in dive bars. Mr. Schuyler.
I also said On the Road, trying to sleep with your best pal Neil.
Yes, I think that is the smell, exactly the essence that he was going for. That is correct. On the road is the inspiration. The quote does give it away, but I still find it absolutely fascinating that there is an odor that has an ode to On the Road. Moving on to round 3. We're moving quickly here. What's in a name? Each question here is worth 5 points, or 1 point if you get the correct book, but 5 points if you get them both correct. Right? 1, 1, and 5. The math tracks. Panelists, we have a collection of quotes for you to ponder. Not too long, obviously. Please write down the name of the author, title of the novel, and then we'll ask you to reveal them from the following quotes. The first quote, favorite of mine, not all who wander are lost. Not all who wander are lost. I will give you a hint. It's possibly one of the greatest series ever written. It's fiction. It was written in the last 1800 years.
Help! Help!
Oh, we have a lifesaver. We have a lifesaver.
Help!
Okay, attendees. We have one in here. So Leo is requesting some help. So in the chat, if you would like to put in your guesses to help Leo out so he could gain hopefully up to 5 points for the name of the author and the book, Not All Who Wander Are Lost is from. It's a tricky one. Oh, this is such a great one. I have this on a t-shirt I made. Not all who wander are lost. I don't know how close my mother is, but I would think that she might know because she was the one who turned me on to these books and changed how I read. We're getting some suggestions.
It's also like we're now finding out how fast everyone who's watching can type.
Yeah. Everyone was like, I just poured a drink. I don't want to lean forward to my keyboard.
Or if they've just got this going on in the background and they're like, wait, what?
Like, huh? What?
I don't know, Leo. I think you've gotten your hint.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. It's Tolkien. I'm gonna guess The Hobbit.
Very good guess. You got another clue if you want to adjust to your clue.
I'm going to adjust my clue and guess.
So
Who
guess
says
Lord
I'm
of the
not a nice
Rings.
guy? Mr. Schuyler?
Just for a point of clarification, are we talking about the encompassing name for all three novels in the series, or are we talking about one of the individual novels?
You will get the most points with the individual novel.
I'm going to further sharpen my guess and say Fellowship of the Ring.
All right, we have a Tolkien Fellowship of the Ring. Rachel, O land of high fantasy origins.
Yes, I am from the Shire, as I like to point out to people, and my husband does refer to me as a hobbit. Um, it's J.R.R. Tolkien, it's The Lord of the Rings, and I was not sure. I feel like it might be the Two Towers, the middle book, but I don't know.
Okay. Pete, what do you think?
We are currently reading Lord of the Rings with my daughter right now. We're in Return of the King. Like we just started Return of the King. So yeah, JRRT. I believe it's the Two Towers as well. Yeah.
Well, everyone gets a point for the author. Everyone's gonna get a total of 4 points for having the right series, although Leo gets the 5th because it was Fellowship of the Ring is where that line originates.
I thought it was
Well
like,
earned
you
on
know,
my part, honestly.
Yeah, Mark Twain for you, Michael.
I'm like, good job, Michael, but
Yeah.
also
Thank you for saving Leo tonight.
Woo,
Thank
woo.
you,
All right,
Michael.
our second quote on
Sorry, what?
What's in a Name. The quote goes, "It was Christmas Day." Yeah, it's not Gandalf reading this. It was Christmas Day, and Danny the car wiper hit the street junk sick and broke after 72 hours in the precinct jail. It's the beginning of a lovely classic redemption of Christmas Day. Who is the author? What is the novel? Or short story, you should say. It was Christmas Day, and Danny the car wiper hit the street junk sick and broke after 72 hours in the precinct jail. Danny the car wiper.
oh my God.
Trying to spoon feed this to you.
I know. I'm like, it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use my thing or not. But I'm like, no, I know what this is.
Is it a romance, Eric? Is that the genre?
Rom-com. Beginning of a meet
I'm
cute.
sure there's some
Yeah.
romantic elements, maybe? Danny the car wiper hit the street junk sick and broke.
Ooh.
Christmas Day.
It's a gamble.
Leo, you already used up your lifesaver. I think you're going to have to put something down.
I've got something,
Mm.
but purely based off the words in the quote. So if this is one of
Okay.
those quotes where they say the title of the book, then I'm set.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I like how your logic, Pete. Do you think you're ready to read off an answer?
Sure.
He said, no, I'm wrong, and I don't like being wrong.
Who does?
Well, if
I'm
I'm
like,
going to be wrong, I'm going to lean into it.
Yeah, I'm like, Christmas junk? Is that what we're trying to get from this hinting? I don't.
Burroughs Junkie.
That's a real good guess. That's a real good guess. Rachel, what do you got?
I'm fairly sure this is super wrong, but I was like, is it On the Road by Jack Kerouac?
Oh, that's a good guess. It's the right genre. It's the right
Yeah.
genre, at least. It's the right phrasing.
Something
I
was
can see the logic
tickling
of
me
that.
about the
Pete?
beginning of that.
I went with Jack Kerouac's Blade Runner.
I think we need to give 2 points all around for getting real close. I think we give 3 points to Leo. It is William S. Burroughs, and it's A Junkie's Christmas.
Oh.
Is the story.
Oh.
So Junkie is a close guess. I think the genre of On the Road is and the style of the writing is all worthy of a couple of points.
Yeah.
Isn't there a thing at the beginning of On the Road where there's someone parking cars or?
Oh yeah, Dean was wearing a real Western style
That's-
business
oh,
trip
that's
back
what it
to Denver.
was.
Just finished his
Yeah.
first fling in New York. I say fling, but he only worked like a dog. in
My
the parking
favorite
lot.
Christmas movie. Thanks, Miranda.
We there's actually, and you can see here, there's a claymation version of this. And my discovery of this was when I was home for, I think it was for Christmas break, and it was on Nickelodeon.
What?
A Junkie's Christmas was on Nickelodeon.
Oh.
I'm watching this at home in my parents' living room, and I'm hearing the voice. I'm like, because claymation, I'm immediately like, oh, what is this? This is cool. And then I'm hearing the voice. I'm like, sounds so familiar. And then it's all about him going around trying to score a hit after he gets out of jail because he has no money, and he's junk sick. And it's this whole claymation about how he's trying to get this, and he has no luck, and going to doctors and going all these places. And he finally goes to a doctor and makes up a bunch of bogus story.
Don't. Hey, the spoilers, man. I'm gonna go to YouTube after this.
Oh,
And
I'm
watch
sorry.
this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Go. So go. I won't. It's very reminiscent of O. Henry and Charles Dickens. I mean, I think the three of them together, you know, The Gift of the Magi, A Christmas Carol, and A Junkie's Christmas are kind of the triumvirate of great redemption Christmas stories.
Can
Our
I
next quote.
donate my extra point to Peter? Because I really want to see Kerouac's Blade Runner. I think that would probably be the best book / movie of all time.
That should have been the sequel. I agree.
I mean,
that would have been a good Jack Kerouac and Philip K. Dick getting together and writing the screenplay for the sequel. Okay, this next one, it's gonna be a little tricky. It does come from one of the authors that we have discussed on our Christmas tour, who is a very old school village author, New York City author, who has been very influential in the Western traditions of Christmas. Wit, after all, is a mighty tart, pungent ingredient, and much too acid for some stomachs. But honest good humor is the oil and wine of a merry meeting. This is a very hard one. I respect that. But who doesn't like to say wit, after all, is a mighty tart?
I mean, that kind of makes me think of Dorothy Parker in a lot of ways, but even though I know it's probably not, but also
I would go back further.
Yes.
And I would dial into the hint of Christmas and someone who is incredibly influential on our traditions of Christmas here in the US.
It's just someone calling something a mighty tart. That just makes me think of Dorothy Parker.
Mighty, yeah, that is something Dorothy would say, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, I like
Probably
how
called many people a mighty tart.
I like how you've inserted yourself into this picture with all these famous writers, by the way.
I had nothing to do with it.
oh,
It is an honor to be pictured amongst fifth grades. It's Christmas.
All right, help.
Oh, okay, lifesavers.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in American tradition, so
Mm-hmm.
writer's not
Help me.
American.
All
though.
right, so we're gonna ask if the audience might have any suggestions. One might say the author, he sort of wrote under a pseudonym on a diary, a Dutch diary, early Dutch. Another clue. This is gonna be a really random clue. A basketball team may have a name influence.
oh
Yeah, little Saint Nick,
Yeah.
Nick. Yeah. You know, the people at home could probably very easily be getting onto Google right now
and giving me the answer, which is
and
really kind of
finding that
thing
answer for you.
for
Wait,
them
the
to do.
answer?
Yes, the answer.
The answer. Okay.
If this person was this old, he actually would have sounded like me. Let's just be clear. So
That's possibly true. Yeah. Possibly true. Was British.
man.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you another hint, Rachel. There
Okay.
is a house with a plaque in the village that is erroneously connected to him.
Oh, so then it's gonna be Washington Irving Jr. No, Washington Irving.
Close.
Yes, Washington Irving is the writer.
I'm not supposed to tell you.
Well, I mean, you just wrote it in the chat.
No, that was one of the attendees for your lifesaver made a guess.
Okay. So yes, Washington Irving, and then what it's from, I have
Yeah, it's a tricky one. This is a tricky one.
yeah.
This is a participation award. Does anyone want to hazard a guess, Pete?
Washington Irving, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, not a bad guess. It's one of the holidays that he writes about.
I guessed Washington Irving's Air Bud. You said it was about basketball, so we just kind of went out on a limb.
It is Washington Irving. It is Washington. It's very hard. It's from Old Christmas, 1876. He's more commonly known for Diedrich Knickerbocker's A History of New York. And the Knickerbockers, of course, the New York Knicks. That was a tough one. I didn't expect anyone to get this right, but I do expect some people to get this next one right, because you've been guessing in this direction anyways. This final quote on this is, "The only people for me are the mad ones."
Oh.
Ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be sane, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, like fabulous yellow Roman candles, exploding like spiders across the stars. And in the middle, you hear it go pop, and the whole crowd goes, "Oh."
I think you nailed it.
I will say, my hint to you, Leo, might be that this author may have been mentioned several times in some incorrect guesses with a novel, perhaps in this section.
I think I know the author, but surely it can't be that same book.
I'm not sure how to answer that, but don't call me Shirley. All right, we keep this thing moving, Rachel. While Leo's putting in there, what's your guess, Rachel?
I'm gonna go back to a previous guess because I think this time it might actually be right, which is On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
Pete, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go same thing. Kerouac, On the Road, Near the Road, Under the Road.
Leo, you're gonna
yeah.
walk your own walk, or you're gonna
Yeah,
follow the
I think
crowd?
it's that same book, On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
100%. Only people for me are the mad ones. Jack Kerouac, On the Road, probably his most famous line. All right, one more section, I believe, and then a toast and some audience participation. So
I like
this is
toast.
the round 4. It's hey, who said what? Is that right, Rebecca? Is that okay? Who said what? Each question here is worth 5 points. We'll give you a sample to ask you to share your guesses. It's similar to the last round, but we're going to complicate things slightly because this round features some fill in the blanks. It's a little more of a Mad Lib style. Some of these are quotes missing the author or the title. And some of these have been recorded and read by some of our guides who couldn't be on with us today, but obviously they suffer from extreme FOMO. And they wanted to participate in some means. So we have a few recordings that we'll share with you as well. But to get things started, if you will prepare your whiteboards, the first one, what is the title of Emma Lazarus's poem that gave us this great line? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse from your wretched shores.
Oh, wait,
Send
no, that's
these.
wrong. Okay.
This is when I'm like, it's like somewhere in the like cold storage in my brain
Mm-hmm.
from like 2015.
There we go.
Give me your tired, your poor, not like the brazen giant of Greek fame. All right, answers. Leo, you look like you had it down. Like you're just rocking this like extreme confidence here.
I feel good
What do you
about this one. The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Also, Me After Thanksgiving Dinner, am I right?
Yeah. You were right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rachel, did you get it? Did you pull it? You pull it from the depths?
Did. I dredged it out of my brain, and I wanted to draw a picture of the X-Men character Colossus, but my drawing is not that good.
Well, there's a lot of lines in that. That's time consuming.
Yeah.
It's not like drawing like Cyclops or
Yeah,
Charles Xavier. We just need one feature.
It's a
Pete, are
bit of
you
a-
erasing your wrong answer? And quickly writing
No,
down
I'm
the correct
not.
one?
No, I'm saying the new Colossus and X-Men movie coming to cinemas in 2025.
Colossus Reborn. He's back. He's smaller, and he's not as shiny. Okay, next quote. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. This is a tough one. I want you to think about struggles. This is an author who is a genius, essayist, novelist, working for equal rights. Probably one of the modern geniuses that truly understood the human psyche from all perspectives, even though he came from a perspective that was definitely under attack in many ways. Beautiful soul, passionate soul. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. This is a tricky one.
He also loved a good cup of coffee.
He did love a good cup of coffee. Leo, you never made it onto that part.
I don't think I did, or if I did, I don't remember it.
I did, but yeah,
We didn't drink coffee when I was in the tour.
No, it wasn't allowed.
it was it was a quote. Oh man.
All right, Rachel, what do you think?
Well, I actually don't remember, although I'm gonna be annoyed when I remember it, so I just decided to pander and say Eric Chase.
Well, I did just read it.
Ooh.
Oh, that is that I'll take credit for that quote.
That is
Pete,
some
did
high-level
you guess
pandering.
me as well?
No, I went for
or-
Jimmy B, James Baldwin.
Oh, very nice, Leo.
I also said James Baldwin.
James Baldwin is correct. Very well done. Very well done. A true and utter genius. And I think even though I had read Go Tell It on the Mountain, it wasn't until Another Country that I think I really respected just how well he could get his mind into somebody else's mindset, and just see the world through such a macro view, despite the fact that he was really kind of dealing with both being gay and black at a time when neither were really all that popular. Truly a genius at the time.
It's
Okay,
quite
so now-
the internet wormhole you can go down, just like getting on YouTube and just watching like talk show appearances with him or just speeches that he gives. Absolutely fascinating guy.
Yeah. a true icon. Danielle, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, point master here. Sorry, I can't let this slide. Rachel, you said that Eric said that quote?
What? No, that's a Twain. That's a
I
Twain.
feel like my rules are quite clear.
Ah.
Sorry.
I think I would give you a Twain, Rachel.
I know you would.
In my heart, you would have gotten an extra point for that one.
And yet you continue to pander, even though you lost a point for pandering.
All right, so this next one is read by our true icon guide, Kurt Kingsley, probably one of the longest running guides on our tour. This is a quote from one of the novelists that we used to discuss on our village tour from back in the day. Again, from a probably his most famous novel. If you would, Rebecca.
Well, maybe like Casey says, a fella ain't got a soul of his own, but only a piece of a big one. And then it don't matter.
The costume he's wearing is reminiscent of the time period.
It is a hint.
It makes me wonder if he actually played the role. Award-winning novelist, the time period of Fitzgerald, but not Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The fruit. I'll say the word fruit. Fruit. Michael for the win.
He gets another mark.
Well played.
I'll give
Well
him
played.
one.
Well played. All right. I don't know, Rachel. You seem like you're done. You think you got it?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm right because I just talked about him on the last tour we did, which is John Steinbeck.
All right. You want to guess the novel?
Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, there you go, Leo.
Said Steinbeck, and then grapes.
Grapes. Nice. Of mice and eggs. What do you got, Pete?
I said 1 liter Steinbeck. And yeah, the novel's Grapes of Wrath. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to guess the novel as well, but
Very well done. Yes,
Yep.
Grapes of Wrath. Excellent. All right, as the scores are going up, Rebecca Lewitt is one of our newer guides. In fact, Pete, you connected us with her. And
Yay!
she's been a wonderful addition. We adore Rebecca, and she adores this poet who has in this clip from a poem by said poet.
Brew my tea and snip my thread, bleach the linen for my bed. They will call him brave.
The style. Once you know who it is, you'll be like, oh, this is totally her. Oops, I just
Is that a
gendered.
hint?
Did I give a hint? What? Me? I think she's been guessed before.
Doling out the hints now.
Oh. All right, well, you're making me change my
Right.
quote now.
Guesses, Rachel?
Yeah, you made me change my guess, and maybe that will come to bite me, but so I guess Dorothy Parker.
Excellent choice, Leo.
I kind of had the same crisis of conscience, but I went with my
Yes.
gut. I'm gonna say Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Good guess.
I think we gotta give a half score because we had really written it, and Pete, it's a really good guess. It was indeed Dorothy Parker.
yeah.
I wrote Edna St. Vincent Millay, and then I changed it to Dorothy Parker.
It's a good guess. That's
Thanks, Eric.
they're similar lines. This next one is going to be a tricky one. I will give you a hint that this poet is a living poet, and she's now featured on the new bar that we go to start off since the loss of White Horse Tavern. So this will be a little bit of a stretch. A poet laureate of the time, but this is Camber Carpenter, a guide and a fairly newish mother.
We too are made of wonders, of great and ordinary loves, of small invisible worlds, of a need to call out through the dark.
This is a real tricky one. I'd be surprised if you got it, but I've never really was aware of her until we started researching this new bar, and now she's one of my favorite poets. I sent a collection to my mother, in fact, so hopefully she's one of my mom's new favorite poets. This woman poet laureate. Any guesses?
Help!
We're doing a lifesaver. If anyone from the audience, from the chat, have any idea.
Please
help.
Oh, please.
Let's see, it's gonna be a real tricky one. But she wrote a poem about the four-faced liar, or it features the four-faced liar, which is now our new first stop, which we've really enjoyed going there. A living writer we get to talk about. It's so exciting. The correct answer, I'll help you out here, is Ada Limon.
Oh.
Ada Limon. He's one of our newer ones. And this last one is a surprise one. In fact, this wasn't even here when we got here, but Rob Gagno put together a quick recording. And I'm gonna give you another hint. We're talking about another one of our beat friends. The beats keep reappearing. Rebecca, would you play Rob's rendition of this beat?
With great pleasure.
Hey everyone, Robbie Gainu here, coming to you from the top rope, brother. Oh yeah! With a few lines from the middle of a poem that you might need to fight to figure out. Here goes. Man has been on Earth a long time. One would think with his mania for growth, he would, by now, have outgrown such things as constitutions, manifestos, codes, commandments, that he could well live in the world without them, and know instinctively how to live and be. For what is being but the facility to love? Oh, and next year, if you need to get a host with like a little, knowledge and charisma and that special je ne sais quoi for this little holiday shindig, you know who to call. Eric, again, obviously, because I'm sure he is absolutely killing this. Happy Christmas, everyone. Peace and love.
Is this what this wasn't in the dress rehearsal?
He wanted to surprise you.
Oh, well played, Rob Gagno. Just got fired. All right, I like that he gave a little clue about fighting. I don't know, Rachel, you think you got it?
I keep rewriting.
I mean,
I'm going to go with my first guess, which
Okay.
which is Allen Ginsberg.
Allen Ginsberg. Good guess. He was in the circle.
Yeah.
Leo.
I also wrote and then crossed out and then rewrote Alan GB.
I like the dedication to keep going back to him. Pete, what do you got?
Ginsberg.
Ginsberg. I
wrong,
like
but
that
I don't
everyone
care.
with Ginsberg. It was actually Gregory Corso.
Yes.
Right. Couldn't remember his name.
The wingman in the fight. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
He was the guy who was like, didn't he get popped for, who got popped for murder? Was he the guy who was suspected for murder? It was like,
that was Burroughs.
No, but Corso like had to run from the cops for a while, right?
I think they all did. I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I think they
I
all
just
at some point or another
remember-
were on the run from the cops.
Yeah.
No,
I
you're
remember-
thinking of Lucian Carr.
There you go.
Lucian
Seen
Carr
him,
is the
yep.
one. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
I was like, yeah, we're really not narrowing it down very much with were they on the run from the cops at one
He was
point.
wanted by the cops. Wasn't
Yeah.
respected by most middle class America. Was offensive, drunk,
Probably
drugs.
responsible for
Yeah.
some
Non-monogamous.
crime.
Yeah, little known fact that Diane DePrima was actually a very accomplished gunfighter. So yeah.
Okay, these next couple are fill in the blanks. And we'll see how well you can pick these up. The first quote is a Dylan Thomas quote. I hold a blank and a blank in me, and my enquiry is as to their working, and my problem is their subjugation, and victory down throw and upheaval, and my effort is their self-expression. It's perfectly acceptable to go for Mad Libs. I know Danielle gives creative points, but I hold a blank and a blank. What are the blanks? Said quote. Rachel, I know you're dying to say this out. You got it?
Yeah, it was like stepping back in time.
Uh-huh.
I hold a beast, an angel, and a madman in me.
Pete?
I got angel, demon, and a madman across the water. Elton John.
It's good to bring liquid in. Liquid usually helps.
Yeah.
Leo, did you have a guess?
I had 2 out of 3.
I said eggnog, mistletoe, jingle bells.
Very good.
I would like to give Leo a Mark Twain just for festivity and flair.
Yeah. And I think Pete got several of them right. He got with the demon and a beast, you could call it. Yeah, angel. Yeah, I think you got a few there. Rachel got the full shebang on that one. Well done. Okay, this last one is going to be a very, very tricky one. So I think we're more leaning into creativity points. But this comes back to a segment that Rose Merritt did the first time that we did our holiday tour, talking about some of the traditions of beverages around the new year that goes way back to the Dutch. And this comes from what socialite Mary Elizabeth Wilson Sherwood, back when they always had 4 names. She wrote this in her guide, if you need the name again, Mary Elizabeth Wilson Sherwood. She wrote, in Manners and Social Usages in 1887, a lady who expects to have many calls and who wishes to offer refreshments should have blank and blank and blank on a convenient table when receiving guests. What should a lady have who's expecting many calls? Do not think telephone. This is pre-telephone. Sorry, Leo. Pre-telephone. What blanks should a lady have prepared? Pete, you look like you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? Let's see it.
Gin, tonic, and lube. Did you just give me a raven for that? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, she was expecting many calls. Leo.
I also had a recipe. I said whiskey, sugar, and bitters.
Oh, nice. Rachel, as a lady, did you perchance get a little closer?
No, I didn't get much further than like I couldn't think of anything good other than like weed, Red Bull, and a PlayStation 5 controller. That's kind of
You
where
might
I
get
got.
something with the Red Bull that could be a ingredient in a modern version. You would have hot tea and coffee and a bowl of punch. Because apparently much of the tinsel and fanfare about the holidays first centered around the New Year early on, before Christmas really became big. In the old Dutch tradition, there was a spirited punch that would be had. And January 1st was the tradition, and it was called the New Year's Call. And up until the 19th century, this would involve gentlemen going from house to house, being social, and saluting their womenfolk, and imbibing in a glass of punch, which is obviously alcoholic. So it was basically an opportunity for the men to go around and flirt with women and get drunk, and hopefully behave somewhat appropriately, although I think SantaCon shows us what happens when you go a little too far with festivities and drinking. And all of this was a glass of punch, was at a sideboard table. So a refined lady would have a side table with hot coffee and tea and punch.
And
Or
probably
jungle
gin.
juice, as we say these days. Okay. So at that point, we should take a break, share a toast. New favorite picture of me. Thank you, Becca. If you are enjoying a glass with us, if you would please raise. This goes back to 1684 from Poor Robin's Almanac. It goes, "A trees their leafy hats do bear to reverence winter's silver hair. A handsome hostess, merry host, a pot of ale now, and a toast. Tobacco and a good coal fire are the things this season doth require." Written by Anonymous, although we think Clement Clark Moore is going to claim authorship at some point soon. Thank you, Becca, for giving me the joke. Danielle, do you have any style points that you wanted to offer out for people?
Oh, I
This
do.
is a stylish time of year.
I do. Well, I think everyone starts off with one because we have festive flair, festive flair, festive flair. So that's one to go around for everyone right here. And that's it.
Does Leo not get a little extra for his
Tough
elven
room.
hat?
Does Leo need any extra?
This is a real
The
feather.
in the cap. Yeah.
I found this feather outside.
Did you wrestle down the bird and pluck the feather?
No, the feather was given to me in true holiday spirit by the bird.
If anyone can summon a bird right now, you get an extra point.
You'll just like a real bird, an alive bird from
Any
the
bird.
outside.
No,
1 point for Pete.
my cat didn't bring. My cat didn't bring any birds inside today, but he did bring in 2 chipmunks and a squirrel. So don't.
And a
like-
partridge
Your
in a
cat
pear
was
tree.
little. Leo, I'll give you a point for your hat if you could tell me what is it called when you put a feather in your hat.
It's called macaroni.
Yes. Got it.
And now let's do our last couple of quick sections here before we wrap up. We appreciate all of you hopefully sticking around. Very quickly, would you rather get to know our guides a bit more? Which book would you rather read exclusively forever, burn, which is sadly becoming more popular, and star in a film adaptation of? You can read, destroy, or star in either 50 Shades of Grey, I Need a New Butt, classic children's story, and Moby Dick. Those are your options. Which do you choose? Read, burn, and star in. Rachel, I think you went right to it. You got this down. I know it.
Oh yeah, I mean the first book that came up was easily The Burn. Just
Okay.
no. It's just a no from me. I'll read Moby Dick because it's some classic literature, and I'll star in I Need a New Butt. Maybe that'll make me feel good about myself. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Get some compliments.
A heartwarming story. Leo, which
I said I would star in New Butt because, like most Jewish men, I do have IBS. And then the rest of them kind of just fell into place from there.
I was not aware that that was a cultural phenomenon. That
Is
was
this a cultural phenomenon?
and in the spirit of Hanukkah, that's great to celebrate the menorah and curious for IBS. Uh, Peter, I know what you want to answer on this, but what are you safely going to answer here for the audience because this is recorded?
I would read a dick, burn a butt, and star in 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, there you go.
Very
There you go.
good.
Burn a butt. All right. Okay. Well done. Thank you for more insight on the minds and the souls of this. Now, round 5. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So each of these questions is worth 5 points. Panelists, we're going to show you one picture at a time and ask that you please write down your answers, and then we'll ask you to reveal them. Sounds familiar. These instructions
Like we've been
seem
doing the whole time?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
but,
great.
but
I was
specifically for
worried
this
the
one-
rules changed quickly or something like that. So.
No. They've just been spoken in a different tone. The performance of the recitation of the rules is it's kind of a mind screwing with your mind, making it feel like something is different, but in fact,
What?
Is this like a Meisner technique thing? Like what?
Is this a Meisner technique thing?
I've been
Yes,
studying
is
how to
this the
control
right
and manipulate people, and so I'm testing some things out here.
Is this a Meisner technique thing? Okay, well, we're gonna stop now.
A miser technique.
Can we go back
okay.
to like canceling somebody? We can cancel Meisner, right? Can we do that? Is that
Can we
the
cancel
thing that can
Meisner?
happen? Could that be?
I mean, I think people studied miser to say it, but I don't think anyone ever used it. Now we're getting into a little insular acting here.
Can we cancel Meisner? No.
Can we
Oh,
please
Gotta stop. We've gotta
start
stop
a
now.
petition?
You know what
Okay.
we can do?
We can go to our first slide.
we can name
I think we just lost everybody in the audience. It's fine.
Suddenly attendance is dropping and dropping and dropping. Okay, so this next slide, I need you to name, this is a series of these, name that demon. So the first slide is a demon, a Christmas demon, to be more specific, that we need you to name culturally. Now, this is the first one. I will tell you that the name means, I hope this isn't giving it away, it means Christmas goat. It is believed to be the earliest form of present-day Santa. I think that picture kind of spells that out pretty clearly. He is very Luciferian, not the devil like the religious sect. I don't know. Some people think they're very devilish. He's very metal. This version loves to torment children, like any good inspiration for Santa. And this is probably the tamest picture we found of him.
He does look like he's in a Swedish death metal band.
He does kind of. Well, it's that area. Finnish. I'll give you Finnish. I'm not saying you need to finish. I'm saying Finnish like this is like Finland. Very difficult. What do you get? Krampus. Good guess. Good guess. Leo.
Said Saturn devouring child.
Saturn devouring child and Krampus. Remember these answers. It's actually Joulupukki. The Finnish.
Easy for you to say.
Christmas goat. Joulupukki. This next slide, this next demon, German Christmas, wears disheveled furs and carries a switch in one hand to beat bad children. Proper Christmas spirit. Has cakes in his pockets for good children. So are you getting the cake or the stick? I feel like, is that like a phrase?
No, it's cake or death.
Cake or death, yeah.
Cake or death. Let them eat cake, let them eat stick. that almost went bad.
Do we let children eat sticks? Is that
eat stick? German.
They're gonna eat it. They're gonna eat sticks anyway. You can't stop them. They're kids. They're insane.
That's true.
Stick eating. German. What do you got? German Christmas demon.
I'm just gonna keep saying Krampus until it's right.
Oh, there you go. All right, Krampus.
Deutschroot.
I vaguely remember this episode, but I only remember the second half of the name. So I said Schnickel.
I think we got to give it to him.
And 1 point for Pete.
Belsnickel. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That picture looks like Rainn Wilson. So that's
though. So you get a point too.
All right. The next demon. This is the Christmas witch, who sets fire to anyone who didn't finish spinning their flax or clean their homes by New Year. So I can understand with the children, you're gonna get burnt to death if you don't clean your room, but you also need to make sure you spin your flax. So, what is this pro flax spinning anti-dirty room Christmas witch? What is her name?
I think she has her own house that roams around on chicken legs. It's Baba Yaga. maybe. I don't know.
Baba Yaga. Oh, that's a great guess. Just
I'm
even
still
thinking the
on
term Baba Yaga.
Krampus. I'm just not going to change this until it's right.
There you go. I like this. I like your strategy, Rachel.
Yeah.
What do you got, Leo?
Said I'd prefer not to because I want to move on from this one as fast as possible.
As long as you weren't going to say Danielle, I think you probably couldn't have guessed wrong. It is Frau Perchta.
But Pete, I'll give you a point for Baba Yaga.
Oh, that's
I'll
nice.
take it.
Yeah, say thank you, Pete. This is like Christmas. That was like a really kind.
Thanks.
Rachel didn't get any points for saying Krampus 4 times.
I'm just gonna.
Well,
It's like
I mean,
when a multiple choice where you just keep doing C until it's the right answer. That's really my strategy at this point.
I love your strategy. So here's the best one. That
It's so weird. How did that get in there?
why is it green? Did you make me green?
it's a bad
I-
lobster in a dark cellar.
I don't
You got
even
a
know what
point.
that's from.
Pete gets a point.
It's like Beetle Chase.
There you
What
go.
is that?
Beetle Chase.
Beetle chase.
All right, this is the last demon we're gonna share. If you're unfamiliar, it's Saint Nick's partner in crime. They would both arrive on December 5th, and the nice kids would get presents from Saint Nick's, and the naughty kids would get beaten with sticks. If you were lucky, because if you were really bad, you'd be dragged to hell and eaten, which is probably slightly better than being burned for not spinning your flax. But
Yeah.
who is this last demon? What do you got? We got a
Krampus?
Krampus. Rachel, I had a feeling you were going to guess Krampus all around. You are correct.
Krampus. I will say that Krampus definitely looks like they have a side table in their house with gin, tonic, and lube.
Yes, that's very true. Listen, I'd go to that party. Yeah.
And a pocket full of flax.
Rachel, I'll give you a Mark Twain for your 4 Krampuses previously.
Yay! Thank you.
Okay. A few more images here. We're going to keep this moving here. We're going to the author and their pet. It's going to be really tricky, so I'm not going to give you a lot of time. You got to name the author, and then you got to name the pet.
That's creepy.
This is a young lady with a pet.
Is it a cat?
You can say what kind of animal it is.
I can say it's a cat. Okay, I didn't want to give it away. I know you put a lot of work into that,
the
Rebecca. So.
cat.
I don't know if it was a cat or a monkey. It was very.
All right, guesses.
I'm gonna say it's Willa Cather,
Oh.
and the cat's name is also Willa Cather.
I love it. I'm gonna go Dorothy Parker. For no reason whatsoever.
I'm gonna say it's Lillian Hellman and her Hellcat.
Her Hellcat, the very good. It's Zelda Sayre and her cat Chopin.
Oh.
Chopin. The next slide.
What in the actual?
There's 2 pets there. That is an author with 2 pets upon her shoulders.
Shoulder dogs are the new fashion, Grundy. I didn't know if you knew this, but it's got to get yourself some shoulder dogs.
I have so many questions.
They didn't have handbags back then, so you had to.
They had shoulder dogs.
Your accessory dog somewhere. And all right, this is. I'm going to give you the answer, and you can tell me if you got it right. This is Edith Wharton with her dogs Mitza and Mimi.
Oh, I had Lillian Hellman and the Hellhounds.
No, that was the band.
Yeah.
That was the punk band that spun out before she really got into playwriting.
I had Edna, SVM, and Cerberus.
Nice.
I had Emily Dickinson and her dogs Richard and Dickie.
Richard and Dickie. Well, those were Emily Dickinson's dogs. That's just not her. So the next slide here, another woman with her cat. Who do we have here? This is a real tricky one because I know the other ones were kind of gimmies, but this one's a little bit more challenging. Write down the name of a random woman and the name of a random cat, and you might actually get very close. Because
Like any random woman?
this
Or-
woman's name is a fairly random name.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Harper Lee and Felix. That's very close. It's the 3 words. We're correct.
Edna, Malay, and Tom.
Very, very close. Again, you had a few extra words in there, but Pete, if you said Elizabeth Bishop and her cat Tobias, you were right.
I don't think anybody did. So just gonna.
These were very well researched. I'll have you know, these were very well researched. All right, this next person,
Which is just code for super obscure.
Yeah.
now this
Random as
person
fuck.
here, who is known for opening animations for murder mysteries TV series. We're gonna give you full points if you can name any of the cats for this darkly gothic author who had an animation that was part of a popular British murder mystery series. And the names of the animals are actually common names. Many male, many female names. Just standard guy on the street, gal on the subway.
It's a shame that everyone used your lifesavers, because I bet Miranda could answer this and help you.
Oh yeah, Miranda know this very, very well. He wrote a series of stories, an alphabet. They're a little dark. Some of the stuff is dark, macabre. Pete, do you want to throw something up there?
So it's Gashly Crumb, and his cats' names are John, Lisa, and Shlomo.
Well, Lisa and Alice are similar.
Very
What do you got? What do you got, Rachel?
I have no clue who this person is, and I couldn't even begin. But you said common names, so I went with like Dave, Steve, and Phil.
Is that right? Is one of those right? Oh, so close.
Phil was
Leo.
close to Phil.
I took a similar stab. I said Vincent Price, who I don't think actually wrote anything, and I said Mike, John, and Sally.
Mike, John. So close. It's Edward Gorey.
All right.
Yeah, remember the murder mystery series on BBC?
But he the Gashly Crumb Tinies, right? That's the guy.
You got the
Yeah,
right
I think that's where
guy.
Gashly's comes from, right? I think.
Okay.
I think we get you some points for that. I think we get
Yeah.
you some points for that. I think we got to give you points for the cats too, because the cats were Billy, Charlie, George, Whedon, Thomas, Alice, Jane, and Foss. So I think many of your names came close to that, and it was a tricky one. This last one, though, of course, we made it a little bit tricky because one influenced the other a little bit. But there's an author holding his pet, the OG raven. Can you name the author? Can you name the bird? Think holding something tightly, or the bird. And it is possible that the other person might be Edgar Allan Poe, which is, I know I'm giving it away, but that's the decoy. The
Wait,
author
Edgar Allan
actually
Poe
had
is
a
not
pet
the
raven
author?
who inspired Edgar Allan Poe to use a raven in his poem. The author had a pet raven.
I can't ask for help, and this is wrong, but I'm just like Walt Whitman, and you said he was holding it tightly, so I think the bird's name is Clutch.
Clutch. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pete, what do you do
I
there?
said Charles Dickens, and the crow's name is Agrippa.
Oh,
I think we got to give that to Leo. What do you got?
I did. I said Poe's Raven.
Poe's raven. The raven was Grip.
Oh.
And the Charles Dickens is the author, and Poe used the raven to go with that. Okay.
Very good.
So we're gonna do speed round. Whoever this next one is, you got to name the arch.
Sorry, was
First
there
hand
a
up.
comma in there? We're gonna do speed round.
Speed. Yeah, this is different. I've changed the rules, Pete.
Okay.
You can relax your writing hand because you need to be prepared to raise it. Because the first person who can raise the hand and name the arch. This first picture, erected in 1899 in Madison Square Garden. Oh, Pete.
Oh no. Okay, I need to let you finish.
Oh,
Never
let it
mind.
back down. And a parade in honor of Admiral Dewey. Edith Wharton was primarily living in Lenox by this time, but if she visited the childhood haunts that year, she most certainly would have strolled around the arch. Unfortunately, it deteriorated quickly. It was made in honor of Admiral Dewey. What is the name of the arch? Made in honor of yes, Rachel.
Dewey's Arch.
Yes.
Amazing powers of deduction.
I don't know how you got that. I don't know how you got. Okay, this next arch. It's a trick question because it's not the original location. This is when it was a temporary arch, also made of plaster. But this arch still exists at the park where, yes, Pete.
Is that the Washington Arch? Washington.
It is the
Square Park?
Washington Square Arch, yes.
Yeah.
And our last arch, stand by, be ready. This is it. Oh, I think Pete was up again.
Archie Bunker.
It is Archie Bunker.
I was going to go with Archibald Leach, even though I knew it was wrong.
That's right.
That's a deep cut.
All right, we're going to now skip ahead to round 8, and we're going to do what we call 4 clues and a quote.
Yeah.
And so each of these questions is worth 5 points if you answer in the first clue, and then the points go down as each clue is necessary. And again, this is a speed round, which is the raising of a hand, because I think the buzzers have stopped working. Right or left is acceptable in this scenario, or
My
both.
buzzer is wearing off.
You're really excited. You can throw your hands up in the air like you just don't care. And you're going to name the first author if you would, Rebecca. This is the only person who would call James Joyce Jim to his face. Pete.
No, go ahead. Never mind. I got to stop doing that.
Stand down. No, that's all right. Yeah, it's the buzzer technique. Became a curmudgeon and a hermit in the latter part of her life. Just gendered her. She sued a bookstore for using her name in the name of their bookstore. Used her first name. She didn't like it. Curmudgeon. Called James Joyce Jim. She couldn't write her name in the snow, but she could make a period in the snow. Pete and I could write our names in the snow. We'd have a hard time making a period. And lastly, the quote, New York is the meeting place of the peoples, the only city where you can hardly find a typical American. Oh, Leo.
Is it Dorothy Parker?
I love that we default back to her. She's such a great guess.
Did she used to live across the street from E.E. Cummings?
She did.
Oh, Juna Barnes. It's Juna Barnes.
Juna Barnes.
Oh,
Juna Barnes. I think we got to give a half point to Rachel for giving the hint away.
I knew who it was, and I couldn't remember her name. Oh.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Juna. It's a hard name to get. All right, this next one. All right.
No, we got to do the joke. E. Cummings every morning would shout across the alleyway and say, "Are you still alive, did you know?" But he would do it all in lowercase.
No question mark.
Well played. Well played. This next author was a social activist, poet, playwright, novelist, music critic, and teacher.
I'm sorry, pick a lane.
I know, right? It's very, very, very big. Very big. This author was discharged from the Air Force because of his collection of books, mainly a copy of Marx's Communist Manifesto. Blue 3, he and his partner edited a newsletter, The Floating Bear, which featured notable other beat writers and was seized by the FBI for obscenity after publishing a piece by William S. Burroughs. May or may not have an affair with said woman who was part of The Floating Bear. Also a poet and playwright we would talk about on the tour. Allen Ginsberg praised his friend's marvelous work, saying that he was a center for of black and white culture, mixing it up and at the same time editing and putting together all different disparate schools of poetry in one magazine. Ginsberg was a big fan. Another free hint, this person actually wrote to Allen Ginsberg after reading the work of Howl, and he wrote a letter to him on a roll of toilet paper that just said, "Are you for real?" The quote from a beautiful poem that he wrote, "And now each night I count the stars, and each night I get the same number. And then when they will not come out to be counted, I count the holes they leave."
Oh!
Go for it.
Amiri Baraka, also known as Leroy Jones.
Yes, the Dutchman. I think he was still Leroy Jones at that point. All right, our last one here. This author, not a village author, from across the pond, had 10 children.
Pick a lane.
I know. Just have one. Live in a pond. Grew up during a mini ice age. Oh, Rachel.
Is it Charles Dickens?
It's Charles Dickens.
Yes!
On the second quote. The highest score on there.
I was born in the town next door to where Charles Dickens lived for most of his life, so I feel like I should get the Charles Dickens trivia.
We do want to read his quote. This is a beautiful quote of his. I mean, he has so many beautiful quotes. "It is a fair, even-handed, noble adjustment of things that while there is infection in disease and sorrow, there is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor." Nice. Mr. Dickens. All right, we got our final flash round, and then we got a couple questions for our attendees before we wrap it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You were up all night doing this, Rebecca. I know that you were up all night.
Rumpa-pump. All
right, so let's see, attendees, how well you were paying attention, because this question is referencing back to one of the first questions that was asked. The question is, please write them down. Have your pens ready. What?
Wait. Did they wager points?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Daniel, why don't you give us the scores? Because you can wager points on this to get it right. This is very much on what's his face, Trebek.
So Leo, you have 44.5 points. Peter, you have 68.5 points. And Rachel, you have 53 points.
I thought Pete had 555 points for a minute there.
I know, right? That's what it was. I mean, the dollar sign.
I'm complain.
Calculate.
Can I take my extra point back from Peter?
Can you bring that back?
How
All right, so write down how
gosh.
many points you want to risk on how well you remember the earlier question. You got your numbers down? You got your wager? Taking a risk? Let's see who would star in 50 Shades of Grey versus who would burn 50 Shades of Grey with your wager here. Okay. So, Holden Caulfield took his sister.
How many points are they wagering?
Oh, we want to know? You want to know first?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
What if they change it when they get it wrong?
Well, hey, you know, then they're gaming the system.
Rachel has 30.
44 and a
Whoa.
half. 10
Whoa,
points.
whoa.
All right.
Laying it all down.
Laying it all down. I like
Peter,
it.
what was
Okay.
yours?
10.
10.
I don't know Catcher in the Rye at all, so I'm like, sure, let's do it.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Holden Caulfield. Am I gonna get stopped again? Did I forget anything else? Can I keep going? Okay. He brought his little sister to Central Park to the carousel.
Yes.
What was his little sister's name? It was said several times in the question, in this this thing that we were doing. I over enunciated it. I said her name.
We've got full confidence from Leo right now.
He had it. He had it. It is a name that begins with a sound, but it's not spelled with a singular letter to make the sound.
I only grow more and more confident.
So everyone is going to lose a certain number of points that they wrote down here. Holden Caulfield brought his little sister. That
didn't even help.
That didn't help?
No.
The first sound is not a single letter, but it's two letters that make a single letter. I don't know, like morph.
I think we're at time.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, can we have some answers?
You want the answers?
It's time.
You want to try it? You think you got it, Leo? You think you got it?
Ready.
Phoebe. Look at that. Rachel.
Nothing.
Oh, Pete.
Nothing.
In the spirit of the season, I went with Christ Tina. So.
All right. I have a super random and obscure 90s pop question. So the question is, who hates Particle Man? Who hates Particle Man? Is it Universe Man, Triangle Man, Spec Man, Ziggy Stardust, Waterman? Everyone loves Particle Man, but who hates Particle Man? There is a clue. They have a fight. Particle Man does not win. The other person wins. Like I say 90s, it was like literally 1990 when this album came out. We just gave it. Oh, I saw some questions change.
Brand new album from 1990.
1990.
For some reason, this was my workout album.
Was it? This was a great album. This was like the party album in college.
Yep.
This one of the Constantinople was another one. This
Minimum
is one of the,
wage. Yeah.
I gave my daughter a CD player, and this is one of the CDs we've been letting her listen to because we're still trying to get her up to some great music she can listen to when she understands what words not to use in public. But the answer is, of course, Triangle Man.
Triangle Man.
Triangle Man hates Particle Man. They have a fight, and Triangle wins. Triangle Man. They Might Be Giants is, of course, the album there, and this is a question I've wanted to ask people in a random way for a long time. This next one, a holiday pop question from the great Christmas stop motion animation of the Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer era was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. There was a toy that the Burgermeister Meisterburger loved as a kid, which almost got him arrested because he started playing with it right after he had outlawed toys. And it was given to him. What toy did the Burgermeister Meisterburger love as a kid that almost got him arrested? It's a difficult responsibility when you must make the king's lawmaker. It's me.
Am I allowed to give you a raven, Eric?
Yes, you can give me a raven. I have my own. It comes with the stuffed Poe. What did the Burgermeister Meisterburger love as a child? Okay. The answer was a yo-yo. I used to love a yo-yo. I could do all the tricks. Sir, you're breaking your own law. What? Arrest this man. and Santa had to chase out of town. All right. The last question. So a little bit of nepotism in here. This is our modern celebrity question. The New York Times wrote the following review of the debut novel, The World Gives Way, writing that it is a staggering marvel, an action-packed cat-and-mouse chase on a doomed generation ship the size of Switzerland. Which former literary pub crawl guide is the author of this breakthrough sci-fi hit? Is it Eric Chase, Larissa Levine, Eric Chase, Marissa Levine, or Eric Chase? Try to give you a lot of opportunities to get the right answer. A staggering marvel. A former guide. They didn't show up today. That's okay. She's also another new mother. Just had a recent child. Which, funny story, I predicted. Yes, Marissa Levine wrote The World Gives Way. And very, very proud of her. So
I got a signed copy of that thing around here somewhere.
I have two copies, not signed. She didn't gift me one. I had to buy my own.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. She wanted her to be a best-selling author. You got to pay for the book.
Well, on that note, thank you so much. I know this ran rather long. Hopefully you had at least half as much fun as we all had amusing ourselves on something like this. This is something that I'd wanted to do for a while, but we do really appreciate you taking the time. We've enjoyed doing some of these virtual tours. It allows many of us who are around the country to still stay active. If you're not following us, we are on Substack, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We are on Blue Sky. We are no longer on Twitter or X, nor are we buying Teslas. But you can follow us on there. We are going to follow up with a reading list of many of the books that we talked about and some other Christmas suggestions, or holiday suggestions, I should say, if you're looking to it. And A Junkie's Christmas is on the list. So with that, thank you for and you'll probably get some poll if you have any feedback. I know this was a little long, but we certainly had fun. If there's any questions that you liked, if you liked the participation, wanted more, wanted less, please let us know. We may want to do something like this again. But beyond that, cheers. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful holiday. Take some time, take a break, get some rest, do some push-ups, brush your teeth, floss. You're not flossing enough. And we'll see you on the next one. Okay, see you next year.
Just to say, Leo won. Leo.
And oh my goodness, winning is so irrelevant to me. Leo won.
I risked it all.
Wait, can I
15.5.
Actually,
Rachel
can
had
I
23. Michael had 3. Good job, Michael.
Can I take away Leo's extra 45 points for him trying to take away the point that he gave to me and then tried to take away?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can get that back. It's about listening.
Yeah.
Pete.
You're really good at that.
Thank you all. Thank you, and thank you, Danielle, for reminding me all about that. Yes, game shows need winners, and we need to let people know. I guess that's important. I don't know. The script had me done being talking. Did you write?
And the winner is.
And there it is in bold. It's in bold right there. But the font is smaller than the final pitch. So I think the font could have been increased, and that would have helped.
Congratulations, Leo.
Good work, Leo.
Congrats,
Worthy
Leo.
winner.
Our newest addition and subtraction, all in one.
And he's taking it home.
But you're coming back.
All the way
Coming
to
back.
Guam. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Michael. It was awesome.
Bye.
All right, bye all.